What's up, guys? Amanda Nybert, registered dietitian. Excited to be doing a little live series all week long of Thanksgiving to give you a little feedback and a lot of the why behind the strategies that we use in my 7-week online health and wellness program called Lean. So let me introduce myself. Again, my name is Amanda Nybert. I'm a registered dietitian. I've been in the field of weight loss and nutrition for over 2 decades. I'm 46 years old. I'm a mom of 2, living a busy, hectic, crazy life, just like all of you guys. And I really believe that we are making nutrition, health, and wellness harder than it has to be. There is so much information coming at you left and right. A lot of it conflicting information that I think people are just like paralyzed. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it consistently. And that's where I come in. So created my signature program called Lean, which stands for Living Energized and Nourished, and have been able to successfully help thousands and thousands of women and men really learn to simplify nutritional strategies for weight loss. Today, I'm specifically going to be talking about intermittent fasting, okay? And how intermittent fasting can be a really simple nutritional strategy to implement to help you with your weight loss goals. So I'm live on Instagram, I'm live on Facebook, kind of tackling it all. So I want to dive in because I want to try to keep these calls kind of short and sweet over the next week, and hopefully have a little bit of time at the end to kind of answer your questions. So intermittent fasting is not new anymore. Let's say 3 years ago, it was a really kind of upcoming new nutritional strategy a lot of people were talking about. And I think people have gotten the hint that, intermittent fasting is a powerful strategy that you can implement for weight loss. I know there's a lot of, again, conflicting information out there as something becomes popular, like intermittent fasting. You have people that will come out and say, no, it's bad for you. It wrecks your hormones. We need to eat first thing in the morning, all of those things. And again, my goal in my 7-week program is to teach you why people are saying that. Okay. Give you the why behind it. Yes, some forms of intermittent fasting are extremely successful, extremely beneficial, and some forms are not. Some people should be fasting for certain amounts of periods, doing long fasts, and some people should not be, But to simply sit down and say all women shouldn't fast or, comments like that, it's just not true. It's just not true. So without getting into the nitty gritty, I want to kind of give you an idea of why intermittent fasting is so powerful for weight loss. Okay. Number one, it helps you to stay in a caloric deficit. When we think about weight loss, our abilities to burn fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit. You need to be eating adequate protein, okay, in order to stimulate protein muscle synthesis. You need to be controlling your blood sugar, okay, because insulin is the number 1 fat storing hormone in the body. So we need good blood sugar management, and we need to be controlling our cortisol. If you're going to see the best results, those are the 4 things that you have to focus on. Maybe the 5th is building a healthy metabolic rate. All right, these are all the things that we focus on in the Lean program. And intermittent fasting helps you to stay in a caloric deficit, okay? Calories in versus calories out, yes, is the foundation to fat loss, all right? So you definitely have to make sure that that's a component. How does intermittent fasting help you stay in a caloric deficit? Well, it reduces your eating window, okay? So you're only able to eat within a certain amount of time. Every single person on this call should be fasting for 12 hours, period. Okay, if you're a 1-year-old or you're a 120-year-old, 12 hours is the minimal fast. Start there. So when we reduce your eating window to 12 hours, we reduce it to 10 hours, we reduce it to 8 hours, your ability or opportunity to consume calories is less. That's positive. I know for me, I eat great all day long, and then 8 o'clock comes around and I want to start eating like an asshole. Okay. I start eating a ton of calories. So sometimes having that kind of stopping point, I'm not going to eat after 8. I'm not going to eat after 9. I'm not going to eat after 7 helps you to make better choices, because you're not eating necessarily for the most part after 8 because you're hungry. You're eating because you're bored. You're trying to de-stress, kind of all of those things. So reducing your eating window helps you to stay in a caloric deficit. Intermittent fasting helps stimulate fat metabolism. All right. So when we eat food, our body utilizes that food source as our immediate energy. Okay. So when we eat dinner is going to support our energy needs over the course of the next couple of hours. Well, as that energy is depleted and utilized, we have excess energy. Okay. Did we eat in excess at dinner? If we ate in excess, then that excess energy is then stored. All right. We store carbohydrates in our liver in the form of glycogen. Then we store excess carbohydrates in our muscles. And then we store everything else in our fat stores. Okay. So if you are eating in a surplus and you're not expending the energy of the food in which you're eating, you're going to be storing excess fat. Intermittent fasting really helps you to tap into your fat stores on a daily basis. All right. Because it helps you to get in that energy deficit every single day. Okay. Specifically at hours 12, 13, 14, 15. So at that point, when you fasted for 12 hours, 13 hours, there is no readily available energy. All right. Your body has to pull it from your liver. It's got to pull it from your muscles. And then eventually it's got to pull it from your fat stores. So tapping into your fat stores on a daily basis is not easy to do when you're eating for 16 hours a day, because you're constantly providing the body with food and energy. So intermittent fasting helps to kind of reduce that energy input so that at least a couple of hours a day, your body is relying on your fat stores in order to provide energy. So intermittent fasting helps you to tap into your fat stores on a daily basis. That's going to ultimately improve your weight loss. Intermittent fasting makes you more insulin sensitive. Okay, we talked about how, you got to be in a caloric deficit. You need adequate protein. You need good blood sugar management in order to support fat metabolism. Insulin is the number one fat storing hormone in the body. When insulin is present, you are storing fat, period, end game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. In order to burn fat, insulin has to go away. All right. So there's a lot of things we do in the lean program to improve your insulin sensitivity. Meal makeup, so I teach you the appropriate ratio of macros per meal to improve your blood sugar regulation. Carbohydrate management. We don't omit carbs. Okay. It's just about the management in which you eat them, the appropriate amount, high versus low, but also intermittent fasting, meal spacing. Okay. Every time that you eat, specifically if it's a food that's got carbohydrates, you're going to have a blood sugar response. Your blood sugar is going to increase. Okay. And when your blood sugar increases, your pancreas secretes insulin in order to bring it down. So when we practice intermittent fasting, the time in which insulin is present in the body is less. Okay, we don't have insulin spikes for 16 hours because we're eating from 6 in the morning till 11 at night. When we have insulin spikes for that long, it makes it harder to burn fat. So we reduce the period in which insulin is present. Okay, the body's also more insulin sensitive because the longer the period, the longer the time in which the body goes without utilizing insulin, the more sensitive it becomes. I always tell people insulin resistance is like being an alcoholic, okay, but with insulin. Just like over time, maybe not like being an alcoholic, but it's like your alcohol tolerance. All right. The first time you drank alcohol, you probably felt really loopy. It affected you greater. But over time, now it takes 2 alcoholic beverages to impact your, loopiness. And then it takes 3, and then it takes 4. That's because your body creates a tolerance to the alcohol. Same thing with insulin. The more you're producing insulin throughout the body because you have blood sugar dysregulations, because you're eating like an asshole, you're not exercising enough, all of those things, your sleep sucks, the more your insulin is going up and down, the more resistant your body gets to that insulin. Okay, so before, when your insulin went this high, when your blood sugar went this high, you needed this much insulin to bring it down. But because your body is now creating a tolerance to insulin, now when your blood sugar goes up like this, you need this much insulin to bring it down. Okay, this is what insulin resistant looks like. And then this is what diabetes looks like. Okay, so one of the ways that we can bridge this gap is through intermittent fasting, making you more insulin sensitive. And the last way, not the last way, but the last way I'm going to talk about today is through hormone regulation. All right, intermittent fasting helps to regulate specifically your hormones, your hunger hormones. Okay, with intermittent fasting, we see an increase, a reduction of your ghrelin hormone. Ghrelin, grr, is your hunger hormone. Okay, if your ghrelin is always high, you're gonna always be hungry. And then we see an increase in our leptin hormone, which makes us full and satisfied. All right, so it's a positive reflection of the hormones and working in the way in which they should. At the end of the day, fasting is simple, okay? It's free. You don't have to pay any money for fasting. Start with a 12-hour fast, ease up to a 14-hour fast, sink into a 16-hour fast. So fasting's awesome because it's free, all right? Fasting is awesome because it's flexible. You don't have to fast for 14 hours, 16 hours every single day, okay? You can fast for 16 hours Monday through Friday and then have breakfast with your family Saturday and Sunday and fast for 12 hours. You know, some of you there's a new kind of fad hype, this 30-30-30. There's this new guy talking about this, you know, revolutionary way to lose weight. And it's, you know, basically like within 30 minutes of waking, eat 30 grams of protein and do 30 minutes of cardio. And so people are like, well, how do I fast? All right, well, actually there's a way to do it that I can teach you in my lean program. But at the end of the day, I'm like, boo, it's not that special. Yes, if you wake up, you know, and you consume 30 grams of protein, which I've been telling you to do since day one, your first meal needs to have 30 to 40 grams of protein, whether it's at 7 a.m. or it's at 11, a.m. And you do 30 minutes of, cardio, you do a 30-minute workout. Again, somebody is just taking simple principles of nutrition, adequate hydration, adequate protein, adequate exercise, combining them in what seems to be a really special, unique way and making you think that this is the answer to everything. When in reality, we've been telling you that the whole time, So again, it's like, don't make it harder than it has to be. All right. I'm going to answer just a couple of questions and I'm really sitting here on Instagram doing all the things. So let me do this, please. So someone says, I've been fasting 16-8 for a month and I haven't lost a darn pound. Okay, good. You've got step 1 down. Okay. Now you've got to get step 2 and step 3 and step 4 and step 5. Okay. So again, you've gotten one thing in place. It's not, you're not just going to fast and everything falls into place. So now what you have to look at is, am I in a caloric deficit? Am I getting enough protein? All right. Am I taking enough steps? What's my sleep look like? Am I drinking too much alcohol? All right. So keep fasting, but start diving into the other stuff as well. My toughest time is after 8 p.m. Me too. Is it okay to fast while in menopause? I've heard conflicting thoughts about this. Absolutely. Yes, it's okay. All right. Now, when you hear people talking about fasting is bad for women and hormones, there is 0 studies out there looking at a 16-hour fast or less. All the studies out there that are talking about the negative impacts of fasting are mainly on men, all right, and also mainly on a 24-hour plus fast. And that's what I'm saying. When people are like, fasting's bad for you. Okay, well, what fasting are you talking about? Are you talking about a 12-hour fast, a 16-hour fast, a 7-day fast? Okay, that's the big thing. So fasting for 12 to 16 hours a day is beneficial for most people, okay? It is going to benefit you, not harm you, all right, for the most part. There's always an exception to the rule, always an exception to the rule. How do you fast when you have to take meds? You fast for 12 hours. All right, fasting for 12, and that's the other thing. Everyone always wants to like delay their first meal. Why do you have to delay your first meal? The best way to fast is with the sun. All right, so if you have to get up in the morning, you got to take medicine. Well, eat your first meal at 7 and eat your last meal at 7. If you want to fast for, 14 hours, then eat your last meal at 5. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be easy to wrap it up earlier, but it would be beneficial. It's not always about not eating first thing in the morning, okay? Maybe it's just wrapping things up earlier in the evening. So if you've got to take meds, start with a 12-hour fast. If you fast consistently every day but different times, does your body get used to it? Is it less effective? If you fast every day for 12 hours, I think your body does adapt. If you fast every day for 14 hours, I think your body does adapt. So I do think that there is benefit in fasting for 12 some days, 16 some days, 14 some days. I do not recommend fasting greater than 16 hours most days for a lot of reasons. The hormone reason, but also protein optimization, which we'll talk about later in the week. I'm sorry, I'm just tuning in. Did you already touch fasting and on elevated cortisol? So if you have known adrenal fatigue, Hashimoto's, thyroid issues, all of those elevated cortisol issues, you should not be fasting for greater than 16 hours, period. All right. And if you are under a lot of stress, cortisol issues, stick to a 12-hour fast. Great video, why people say women should not fast. Women should fast. Do you need to count calories during intermittent fasting? If weight loss is your goal, yes. Yes, you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. Can I fast if I have thyroid issues? For sure. You may have answered this, but do you prefer to exercise in a fasted state? I prefer to exercise in a fasted state simply because I prefer to work out right when I wake up. But for me and what I teach my clients in my lean program, any workout, any time of the day, any day of the week is better than none at all. So you will not get better results by working out fasted. Okay. Bottom line. You're going to get the best again, just work out. Like, stop making it harder than it has to be. Whatever time works best for you. So anyway, okay, great. Awesome. If you're watching this on the replay, ask your questions in the comments below. Share this video. I'd appreciate that. I'm going to post it on my Facebook page, on my Instagram main page. Share it. I'm going to pick one person to get a personalized one-on-one consult with me so we can figure out what is the best case scenario for you. Black Friday specials going on right now for my Lean 7-week program. You can commit to starting in January at the lowest price possible. So check it out all week long. In Lean, you're going to learn from a registered dietitian with over 20 years experience. No, I'm no young spring chicken over here. Okay. I'm doing the exact same things I'm telling you to do. We're going to learn together. I'm going to support you, provide daily support and accountability, in addition to hundreds of resources to help you feel your absolute best. So I can't wait to do that. Talk to you soon. Bye. Bye, Facebook.